And that the Corruption Prosecution Unit at the Integrity Commission has ruled that a criminal charge be laid against a senior legislator from the opposition People's National Party. Nationwide News has been informed of the identity of the legislator, but we have made the editorial decision not to publish his name at this time. A report naming the Member of Parliament and the circumstances supporting the ruling by the Integrity Commission is set to be tabled in the House of Representatives sometime this month. We have more in this report from George Davis.
Sources close to the Commission tell our news centre that the ruling that a criminal charge be pursued against the opposition legislator follows his alleged failure to submit his statutory declarations for 2022 within the time period required by law. The opposition MP is said to have eventually submitted the outstanding declarations, but only after the deadline date. It's understood that compounding the problems for him is his failure to comply with a notice prepared by the Commission. In that notice, the opposition MP was told he was being fined $250,000 for not submitting his statutory declarations in a timely fashion, which is in breach of the law. The Integrity Commission says its checks proved that the MP in question failed to pay the fine as stipulated to Tax Administration Jamaica. It's understood that the Integrity Commission is awaiting a certificate from its Information Technology Department and a statement from an officer at the Accounts and Finance Department at the Houses of Parliament before placing the MP before the court. Our sources say Director of Corruption Prosecution at the Integrity Commission, Keisha Prince Kamika, ruled this week on October 8 that the MP be charged. The report and ruling outlining the case against the opposition MP could be tabled in the House of Representatives as early as next week. The MP in question is a senior member of the Mark Golding-led PNP with strong roots in the party. He's also one of the opposition's most vocal members in the parliament. Senior members of the PNP tell our news centre that the MP is aware of the development with the Integrity Commission and is readying himself for an appearance in court. George Davis for Nationwide News.
An abuse of process. That's how King's Counsel Peter Champagny has described the 8 charges brought by the Integrity Commission against his client, former House Speaker Marissa Dalrymple-Philibert. Mrs. Dalrymple-Philibert is being accused by the Commission of making false statements in her statutory declarations for the period 2015 to 2021. The matter was called up in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Friday. Our reporter Robian Williams was there.
In court on Friday, King's Counsel Peter Champagny made an application for the matter against Mrs. Marissa Dalrymple-Philibert to be thrown out on the basis that there were procedural errors that led to the charges being laid. Mrs. Dalrymple-Philibert resigned as Speaker of the House and MP for South Trelawney last September following a report from the Integrity Commission that recommended that charges be laid against her for making false declarations about her ownership of a motor vehicle. However, KC Champagny argued that the charges are misplaced and constitute an abuse of process. In making his point, KC Champagny submitted that the matter should have gone before a commission for an inquiry before criminal charges were preferred. He further stated that his client was written to by the Integrity Commission regarding her assets, and she in turn responded. KC Champagny added that there was one asset in particular, a Mercedes-Benz motor vehicle, that his client said she was not aware of at the time. Subsequently, in a question and answer session, Mrs. Dalrymple-Philibert indicated that she wished to correct the record. Having checked further, she recognized that the vehicle was an oversight on her part. KC Champagny submitted that he's in receipt of a report dated July 28, 2023, signed by the Director of Investigation, recommending that Mrs. Dalrymple-Philibert resubmit a complete and accurate statutory declaration. According to KC Champagny, if the Commission had recommended a resubmission of the statements and it was resubmitted, then the matter should have been settled. But that opportunity was not afforded to Mrs. Dalrymple-Philibert. KC Champagny argued whether the principle of equality was applied. He said based on the procedural missteps, the Commission has from the start failed on the basis of the case being an abuse of process. He added, quote, It is our submission with the greatest of respect that the IC's approach in these circumstances begs the question as to whether or not their approach to our client was simply because of the then status of our client, Speaker of the House and Member of Parliament, end quote. Meanwhile, the prosecutor for the Integrity Commission insisted that there was no abuse of process. The prosecutor maintained that proper procedures were followed in arriving at the charges. He added that the defense misquoted citations in law and has taken things out of context. The prosecutor submitted that the abuse of process application is improperly brought. The prosecutor stated that there was in fact an inquiry in the form of the question and answer session with Mrs. Dalrymple-Philibert. He said the defense's application is baseless. Presiding Judge Leighton Morris will rule on the application when the matter returns to court on December 6. Robeanne Williams,